Thank you, Mr. President. I'm compelled to respond to the Indian delegate's remarks, a textbook case of perpetrator posturing as a victim. A state that has weaponized hate, normalized mob violence, and codified discrimination against its own citizens and against those it occupies has no moral standing to speak against Pakistan or to speak on the responsibility to protect. Under the BJP-RSS regime, India has descended into a majoritarian autocracy where all minorities, Muslims, Christians, and Dalits, live under siege. Lynching is met with silence. Bulldozers become tools of collective punishment. Mosques are razed. Citizenship is denied based on religion. This is not the protection of people. This is their persecution, sanctified by law and celebrated by power. And yet the Indian delegation speaks of international norms, while India has oppressed, silenced, and I must say, failed its own population and the people of occupied Jammu and Kashmir. On Jammu and Kashmir, India's claim of it being an integral part or an internal matter is pure political and legal fiction. Jammu and Kashmir never was, nor is, an integral part of India. The United Nations recognizes it as a disputed territory. Numerous Security Council resolutions, including resolutions 47 of 1948, 91 of 1951, and 122 of 1957, along with those of the United Nations Commission for India and Pakistan, reaffirm the right of the Kashmiri people to determine their own future through a free and impartial plebiscite. Mr. President, India not only accepted these obligations, it is bound by Article 25 of the UN Charter to comply. Its refusal to do so constitutes a continuing violation of international law. Mr. President, India's crimes extend beyond occupation. On 6-7 May 2025, it launched an unprovoked and deliberate attack on civilian areas in Pakistan, martyring 35 innocent people. While Pakistan, because of its commitment to child protection at the highest level, is being removed from the SG's report on children in armed conflict, India recently martyred 15 children in Pakistan. This was not a military engagement. It was a massacre, a blatant breach of the UN Charter and international humanitarian law. We have called for these atrocities to be documented in all relevant UN protection reports. Mr. President, India's sponsorship of terrorism is equally well documented. From the 2014 Army Public School massacre to the recent school bus attack in Huzdar, the fingerprints of Indian intelligence agencies are evident. Through its support to TTP and BLA, India constitutes to wage covert war against Pakistan. This is not speculation. It is supported by public confessions from India's own former officials. Mr. President, R2P cannot become a slogan for serial violators to hide behind. It cannot be invoked by those who deny rights at home and export chaos abroad. If the international community is serious about protection, then it must first protect vulnerable populations from the very states that are the perpetrators, including India. There must be no impunity, no blind spots, and no double standards. I thank you, Mr. President.